FlyQuest Academy's regular split was pretty interesting for me because all the players in this team are a lot less experienced than the players that I've played with in the past. So it was kind of an opportunity for me to try to like help them and like teach them what I know. And it kind of made me have to like make sure I know what I know, because if I explain something to someone and it doesn't make sense, it's not going to help them. So it's been pretty cool just like working with all the teammates, trying to just like bring out the best in everyone and get us on the same page. So it's been fun.
And it's working so far as well. FlyQuest Academy up 1-0 as well. Welcome back to Game 2 of the quarterfinal series between FlyQuest Academy and Clutch Gaming. FlyQuest did take that victory in Game 1, and they've selected Blue Side coming into Game 2 as well.
Yep, no surprise there. Blue Side still feels like it has some advantages in draft, and Meteos in particular has looked good. Looked real good in that first game. Did get caught out one time deep in the enemy jungle, trying to get some advantages back. But other than that, punished and invaded by the enemy jungler. Controlled a lot of early objectives, especially the Ocean Drakes, to make sure his team had easier laning phase. Then provided frontline for the rest of the team, and was obviously making a lot of the decisions in that game, which was great because his laners were also stepping up all around him. So it was one of those games where kind of everything was going right for FlyQuest. And when that works, Meteos has all the tools he needs to lead them to a very clean win.
I think, like he was saying, you know, leading significantly less experience. I mean, there are very few players with as much experience as Meteos in the NA.
But there's levels.
Of course. And I think these players, like he said, are quite inexperienced. So for them, the best thing they can do is just play well individually. If they have a strong leader to rally around, to be directing them throughout a game, especially when they're ahead, I mean, that's their job done at that point. Like, when you're a new player kind of coming up in somewhere like Academy, I don't think you're expected to, you know, stomp everyone in lane, always winning gold, carry every team fight, and also do the shot calling. You know, you're not there yet.
Yeah, absolutely not. No and Airy. This time last year, we're competing in the collegiate finals a little while ago, and that was a huge deal for them. Then they get picked up onto academy teams, and they won last split, but it was once again with two giant veteran voices on their team with Shrimp and Keen. So they are stepping up, they're leveling up, and it's nice that they always have what feels like a rock somewhere on their team to learn from, because we've seen a lot of academy teams not have that and struggle significantly.
Yeah, it does feel like FlyQuest as an overall organization, some pretty good infrastructure in place. On the Clutch side, though, as far as gameplay goes, certainly a lot of talented players, and of course we'll talk about the draft when we get there, because Champ Select number 2 is coming up in a minute or so. But I think Moon, we talked about this kind of player that can really, you know, have some wild picks, play super aggressive in this game, and almost carry you on his own. And he's not even, you know, the best threat on Clutch. He was horrendously shut down that game. I think Meteos as a jungle is a foil to the type of player Moon is, so either he needs to change up the way in which he's being aggressive, or maybe just pick something completely off the wall. Maybe the Evelyn is has its time to come back out. But we'll see what happens here in this draft so far. So Standard, Rakan, and Aatrox both banned away.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing some changes up from the first draft. I actually like the Graves and the Trundle. That should be good for Moon, and the fact that he got punished is something that falls on him. And if you're going to start losing matchups like that, that becomes a problem everywhere in the draft. It's not like something that you're going to fix. That's true. That feels like, oh, you shouldn't be doing Raptors here when the enemy has mid-priority or Ward or something better, track Meteos better. And he got punished for that. But I also wouldn't mind seeing some other changes, such as get Piglet a better matchup, put some more focus on him in the draft, and don't let him become one of your lowest, you know, quote-unquote priority positions where you're not giving him the resources in the draft.
Well, there's Nocturne also banned alongside Aatrox. Galio banned once more. I believe it was away from Peckham last time, so another blue side Galio ban here. And Akali notably banned away from Sun, but on the blue side here for FlyQuest Academy. So at least this game not running that first pick Akali strategy that Clutch looked decent on, certainly in the lane. As the last ban will be Kindred.
Interesting to see some of these bans. The Rise, notably left up from the previous game, but it will be the Varus first pick. Once again for Airy, performed super well last game. There's no reason to move away from that if you don't think there's anything else that you want to grab. And there have, like we said, been a lot of those kinds of priority bans.
In general, I think also Varus just so solid that you can probably expect to draft a winning 2v2, which I think is a pretty important component of this matchup. Looks like Trundle, though, going to get stolen away. Moon deciding he wants that one here. And I think if not this pick, then the next one, I am expecting Clutch to pick something here for Piglet. I think you can maybe leave your support if you really need to pick something else here, but I do think Piglet maybe deserves something better than like 5th or 6th pick Jhin into Varus.
Yeah, definitely the case. The Trundle, though we've been kind of hyping up Moon as the crazier guy, he does still have the most games played this split on the Trundle with 5. And Vulcan grabbing the Tahm Kench is another pick that actually makes a lot of sense for Piglet. He likes to play super aggressive. Tahm Kench can support him. And if you're playing the 2v2s very well, Tahm Kench can actually win a fair amount of the melee matchups. And so if they're going to go back to the Braum or the Alistar again, the Tahm Kench can do very well into those.
It's funny that I get to, just kind of scoping up some of the picks from the split. I just looked at Piglet's second most played bot lane. I forgot about that one. Yeah. I think we'll be seeing him make another appearance as Braum is going to be the selection here for Quan. It's Ryze, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. He did play a lot of bot lane Ryze.
Yeah, he definitely had a little bit of fun with the mages in the meta. And he was one of the better ones. Actually won a lot of those Ryze games, so probably not going to play that anymore, though. We do still see it in other regions. Fnatic have been playing Swain in the bot lane still. Some Korean teams are still playing. And there's the Ryze. It's just probably going to Pekkenwolf.
Yeah, other side this time. Looks like Pekkenwolf taking Ryze blind here. We'll see if Clutch... This is actually really, I think, kind of clever in that Clutch now probably feel pressure to pick a mid lane matchup for Sun, but Piglet's going to get the wrong end of the draft again if they do take something like this Orianna. So I do like that FlyQuest are kind of applying pressure to the lane, even in champ selectors. Orianna is going to be the lock-in here.
Yep, they do grab the Ori. There's less bans available since the Ashe is still up, so if you're trying to get rid of the Ashe, Lucian, Braum, you don't have quite as many bans to get rid of those. Though without, or sorry, not the Braum, the Lucian, Ashe, and Ezreal. But without Braum on their team, the Lucian pick becomes a little less important, so you might be able to get away with just an Ashe and Ezreal ban here if they want to keep pinching Piglet. Those would be the two that I would look for. We'll see what FlyQuest wants to do, though, as they can also potentially try and ban out some tops. Whereas on the flip side, Clutch, you see with the Graves ban already starting to work down on the jungle pool.
Yeah, I kind of like attacking Meteos here. Kind of curious to see what will play into Trundle. You get a lot of options, I feel like, but Trundle's such a good all-round jungler that kind of feels like when you're getting champions taken away from you, that even if your jungler is fine, you don't really have as many options. And Meteos is a player that certainly likes to have those. Taliyah going to be the next one, so two aggressive junglers taken off the board.
Yep, that's what Trundle struggles most with, is high-tempo junglers who outrange him. Graves, as we saw, even though it didn't work out for Moon, a very well-accepted counter pick into it. The Taliyah as well, potentially being an option, so they're getting rid of that one. We'll see if FlyQuest does go, with the suggested bans. Not too much of a surprise. We'll see what Piglet wants to go for. Hovering that Lucian. Still works well, even though it doesn't have the synergies with the Braum. Still works fine with the Tahm Kench, as Tahm can eat you up whenever you dash in, maybe go a little bit too far. Or if Piglet might try more of a hyper carry.
Whatever it is, he's clearly flicking through a bunch of different picks. Maybe it's time for Tristana to make a return. It is going to be locked in there.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, I was talking to a couple bot laners who said that there might have been a couple different scrim pockets, and one of the picks that started to see some favoritism was the Tristana pick. Was starting to perform with all the marksman buffs that have slowly been coming in. People think she's now at the point where you're ready to break her out, even though she had one of the lowest win rates in solo queue for a little while. Feels like the competitive scene is ready for the Tristana.
And for a lot of these players that have played for quite a long time, Tristana is a pick that you feel like you can always play if you have enough games. Piglet certainly has put enough Tristana games in, given his experience in competitive league. And there's Olaf actually for Meteos. So finds a high-tempo jungler. It's not a very common one. Certainly was a while back in the Olaf Skarner days.
I was about to say the Olaf Skarner Trundle was the meta for the playoffs in Spring Split. And for the most part, Meteos can play. It also got touched on 8-15. Saw a couple minor buffs. So he basically got his W bonus attack speed increase. So not a ton, but a little higher tempo.
Better than nothing.
And a couple, I think it was seeing a lot of play in Korea. They started picking it up a little bit more. So see what they do with that. Hopefully Meteos can have another good game on it.
There's also a cannon in the game. Looks like Noah's going to take that one, which is a pretty big departure from what he normally plays. Not a tank in this time around, although still has a lot of strong team-wide implications. And of course, Gragas actually the last pick. Kind of expecting to see a bit more Gragas, both in jungle and in top lane, but will make his first appearance in this series for Max Strobo.
Yeah, the blind cannon pick, kind of saying, I want to win my lane, being what the statement is with that. And Max Strobo kind of concedes it and takes a top lane tank. And Gragas is one of the better ones due to his ability to farm with range, with Q. The sustain that comes in from casting spells makes you not quite as susceptible to the Kennen harass. As well as having really good gank setup, you can knock him out as well when he starts going for Lightning Rush. There is some counterplay options that show up in that matchup, though it will still be Kennen favored in lane.
Yeah, interesting to see FlyQuest kind of prioritizes this pick here. Cannon usually a counter pick into a pretty large variety of matchups, but obviously blind pick here for no. It's also funny to see Max Trouble is like, okay, I'll take tank duty this time. As No's the one actually breaking out a different pick. Coach is going to synchronize for that handshake. See what happens here in game number 2. Very different draft already.
Yep, really different from the previous game. But once again, I think the biggest difference is that the actual roles don't align quite the same. Whereas before we saw 2 tanks top, 2 similar junglers, 2 similar supports. Here with the Kennen, we have a different pressure point on the map, being able to harass up on the top side, as well as the fact that while both are technically control mages, Ryze does enjoy going into the 1-3-1, split pushing and using global advantages, whereas Ori basically wants 5v5s and 5v5s only. You combine that with the Tristana, you see a bit of a hyperscale protect the Piglet comp starting to arise as everyone else is tanks on the team. And it looks like FlyQuest opting for a lot more 1-3-1 and split push. So very different strategy for FlyQuest from last game.
And I think, again, makes sense for both these teams. FlyQuest had confidence in their map play. So playing something like 1-3-1 can be good, especially when you get ahead, if you can stay ahead. Clutch, I think, with something like Orianna, a comfort pick for Peckenwolf, just saying, you know what, Piglet, we trust you to carry this game. So we'll give Sun a champion he knows well, but also one that can support Piglet when the time arises in those big 5v5 engagements.
Yeah, we have a lot of FlyQuest fans mentioned it before. It feels a bit like a home game.
It does, actually.
For the team, and that's good to see everyone coming out to support them as they had a great start to the series. We were talking about how this is potentially a little Clutch favor. They had the head-to-head tiebreakers between the 2 other 10-8 teams. They were 4-0 over them. Now, like we said, that did include some games with Solo on it, but it did feel like Clutch was a slight favor coming into this game, or this series, excuse me. But game 1 didn't play out like that at all.
No, a lot of it was, you know, we think that there's kind of a lot of closeness, but maybe the lane matchups have edges here for Clutch, and FlyQuest have shown when ahead they're really good, but when behind, maybe not as good at playing the map and playing from a deficit. They just didn't get any deficit last game because their lane is played above expectation.
And that's why it's kind of hard to guess where the series is going to go from here, because that wasn't what was expected. If they can do that every game, it's going to be a quick 3-0, but you don't expect that to be the case. And if these adaptations need to start coming in, because we did not see Piglet receive the extra priority that we were hoping to. He gets pushed off Ezreal and Ashe, and he's down on Tristana now. And if he has another, below Piglet expectation game here, you have to think they're going to want to change something up.
Yeah, it does feel like this matchup's even harder than the last one, but perhaps a little bit more late-game teamfight insurance. We'll have to see. Arian Clone continuing things off as per usual. Sun's playing a little bit more aggressive now. Again, a pick he's very comfortable on, and Ryze not so good without some levels. So Sun's going to try and abuse that as often as he can.
And it's a little surprising to see the Orianna picked into the Ryze. I'm not sure if the matchup has changed since the good old trifecta days when Ori countered Cassio, Cassio countered Ryze, and Ryze countered Ori. They have both seen a substantial number of changes since those days. And the Orianna W buffs that came in a little bit ago have felt pretty substantial into forcing her back into the meta. But it also could have just been a comp pick where they're very clearly intending to play around Piglet.
Doesn't take much to get it back into the metagame.
Nope.
There's a bit of harass there from Peckenwolf, like you said, knows his way around both these champions actually, so feeling pretty comfy in the matchup. Looks like push here for Piglet and Vulcan though. So I'm going to force some of that pressure away from FlyQuest 2v2.
And I do like the Tristana a little bit more than Jhin, just in the sense that Piglet has extra mobility to kind of be Piglet, to be able to go in when he wants to go in, to be able to jump out when he goes too far in. Having just a little bit of extra agency, I think, is really good for Piglet, which is why the Ezreal and the Lucian bans were so great last game, as well as the Ashe being able to pick her fights whenever she wants. Here, Piglet kind of back in that role, whereas Jhin, a lot more of that backline sniper.
Meteor's doing a nice job power farming here. Looks like he full cleared almost all his jungle except his Krugs. He's actually going to leave a Raptor here as well. Walks into counter jungle. As Peckenwolf does take an early base for a Mana Crystal and some boots. He's going to get back to lane pretty safely here. Sun also walking back with a second Dorans and a refillable. A lot of early laning stats here for both these mid laners, but given how much they traded and how they used all their mana in their last little exchange, it does make sense.
Yeah, and this is kind of what happens in the Olaf Trundle matchup. Olaf clears faster, uses that extra bit of tempo to get a small CS lead on the Trundle, and has a generally stronger 1-6, 1 through 7, and then slowly it starts creeping back into Trundle's favor as Olaf's base damages kind of drop off over the course of the game. Trundle becomes a much more effective frontliner. And so with that in mind, you know, Clutch definitely have a better 5v5, but if Meteos can get some leads for his laners and they can 1-3-1 and use the map well like they do, as No unfortunately gets his ward chomped down on instantly. Nice auto attack reset by Moon to deny that. But if FlyQuest can win the early game again here, they have a great comp for kind of snowballing that.
No, looking okay in his 1v1, although Max Probo pretty resilient here on the Gragas, and we'll see if Moon does want to come in for a revisit.
He's unfortunately on a camp though, so Meteos is down to run into the enemy jungle knowing he is not there.
Also, finds a really nice spot for a root. Does actually get some damage down to Sun. And Orianna pretty comfortable at trading back. Quan also helping Meteos in this invade, but looks like it's just to ensure some safety and maybe clear out some vision, although I don't know what they saw with their Scry's Bloom, and Moon is now going to rotate back down to the jungle with no camps in it. Fortunately for him, they have all been taken away.
Yeah, both junglers not really having too many camps to mess with. As we see Vulcan, this is what we're talking about with those melee matchups, having a bit of an advantage with the Tahm Kench.
Heal by Airy, long stand behind me. Gets him way out to safety, but did have to burn a summoner spell.
In the meantime, the Rise seems like he's getting a little bit better of these trades in mid lane. Feels like some pressure getting traded around the map, as I really like the Tahm Kench for Vulcan, despite what people who watch the LCS might have seen as some lackluster games for him. I still think it's one of his better champions and works really well with Piglet. So hopefully we get to see them continue having some lane dominance here.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like the same story here in the last 2v2 matchup. Again, still pretty even. CS is actually locked right now. But at least some of that pressure here is where Piglet likes a lane to be. Forward and pushing into the enemy turret.
And able to harass people with those auto attacks. Tahm Kench sitting further back. They don't actually have any vision control down there in the bot side river, so that's why you see Piglet step far forward, looking for harass, but Tahm Kench is sitting further behind, ready to gobble him up and run him away if we see a Meteos visit down there, but Meteos is base.
6 here on both sides of the top lane matchup. No, does eat some Comet damage here from Max Strobo.
Ah, interesting. Going for Comet. In a losing matchup, trying to use that to help trade back favorably, and for the most part, Max Strobo doing very well. Mostly even CS at this point.
No, it does get some lightning harass down. Early talk twos for No. He can try and again harass, but Max Strobo using that comment to poke the cannon out and just kind of keep the all-in threat away. If you can keep something like a cannon pretty low, the one to all in you lessens and lessens, the more dangerous it becomes. So I do like that Max Strobo is kind of using that comment to, more than anything, just get through the laning phase without No threatening to take him down.
Right, and it's interesting because No went for the phase rush AP cannon build here. As you see, he already completed his pen boots. Whereas a lot of people recently, at least in North America, have been going for the 81 as, whoa.
That's Piglet. Oh, he's actually looking for it. First one, he tried to predict the flash. No, though, flash after.
I don't think he had to try and predict it. I don't think he weaved an auto attack in. There was recently, or not recently, a while ago that changed that made it so you could not weave your auto attack into your ultimate cast. And I think Max Strobo intelligently knew that and just put it too far back. I think that was just a simple misclick. And it cost them potentially a kill and potentially a turret as No was able to stick around and try and wave clear this. And as a result, it's actually Airy and them pushing down the bot side faster.
Yeah, burns his ult, but looks like he'll be safe for now. Pekkanov also threatening Sun. Sun a little low on mana, but Rise can't get in range to cast those spells, so he's going to have to dance back towards the minion wave here and take that one down. His Meteos looking to clear on the top side. Got some axes, so pretty simple stuff here. And No, even going to roam back. Hasn't actually based yet. Does have a TP to use if he wants to, but looks like he's feeling comfy enough with his jungler in the back pocket.
Yeah, bot lane turret at about half HP. Top one actually lower, so there's a chance Clutch Gaming still is able to come out ahead with the fact that Gragas should be a superior wave clearer. If Meteos sticks around the top side, he might continue to make it difficult because that axe spam can get pretty annoying for a 2v1 situation, but that also means that he's not going to be jungling, and it feels like he is prioritizing the jungle farm.
Throwing Moon back up here as well, so that will be enough coverage to ensure the first turret gold goes over to Piglet.
So not the ideal play, but Clutch Gaming has done a good job of accelerating some gold onto Piglet to get into that hyper carry status.
Yeah, Don't usually expect the proactive macro AD teleport, but you know, if it works, not a bother. Spectrum does clear the wave out. No vision in that brush, so hard to interact with that route, and Meteos is going to donate the blue buff over. Pekanov has finally TP'd back to mid lane with some cooldown boots, and we'll get the wave pushing his Sun. Gonna have to walk back there in those waves.
It's one of the advantages that you get with that TP. You can kind of use it whenever to get a tempo advantage. Held it on their first recalls just to match for a better back where he would be able to pick up some bigger items because he wasn't able to complete the tier on the first one. Now he has it. Hopefully we'll start seeing some map play out of him because the turrets have started dropping. Did not get their own in the bot side, but maybe can make a play up into the top lane if the cannon goes back up there.
Yeah, interesting to see that Clutch actually used that TP, take the turret, and then swap back. So now Piglet can protect his turret pretty effectively as he's getting levels and already has Berserker Greaves and BF Sword finished. Ari and Quan just haven't found the same amount of 2v2 kill threat that they had in game 1. And I mean, if Tristana's left to just farm the wave and hit your turret, that's exactly what she wants to be doing in the early game.
Yep, absolutely the case. And while they only have a 300 gold lead despite the first turret to nothing on the side of FlyQuest, FlyQuest does have some CS advantages. Was about 6 in the mid lane. It will be once Heckenwolf actually clears his own wave out. You see jungle advantage, of course, the Olaf being the faster clear. And then Braum with 3 extra. Massive lead.
Done a good job this game. Also continuing to get pressured in as Orianna also with blue buff is able to match and shove these waves down with impunity. Strobo also with a nice long lane to threaten no into, so kind of all of that potential 1v1 pressure No had kind of gone next to that really clever swap from Clutch. And this is kind of the test we wanted to see from FlyQuest. Again, it is a small gold lead, but just being down on the map is something where FlyQuest haven't seen as much of. Usually they get ahead on the map and they play for those objectives and snowball the game from there. So we'll see how they can play a little bit behind on overall map pressure.
We'll see if something breaks out around the bot lane. Both teams, very similar situation to what we saw last game that went heavily in FlyQuest's favor. We'll see if that happens again this way.
Predator Olaf ready to run. Moon are going to spot him. Meteos moves first. He's going to check the rush, and Moon says, surprise! Red smites him. Now Vulcan again going to try and pressure in. Meteos going to get slowed down. Flash. It's actually a really good save from Quad. Moves forward, gets the double glacial vision knock up. And Sun is here, but Piglet going to get tagged by Braum passive and have to jump away from the action.
Really close play they're working out there for Clutch. Meteos felt like he held his ult for forever there. Could have used it to cleanse some of those slows to get out. Ends up losing his flash. And that situation dissolves with only that one summoner going down. But that does result in some pressure in favor of the bot lane. It's just Piglet now knowing that there's no jungler to worry about, free to auto attack away.
Yeah, taking damage, but again, just playing up, has the wave in his advantage. So not feeling too much pressure. And even walking back to hit Quan. Again, hits another Q.
Yeah, getting again poked back on. A little bit easier for the other team to just throw some abilities out. Piglet's just on and needs to use that auto spacing.
Meteos can take red buff here as well. Maybe back down to the bot side, despite not having flash, could maybe set something up here.
Yep, can always just kind of go for that rundown, especially if Quan's able to interrupt, but no ultimate available means Piglet will be able to jump away pretty freely. There's also no ultimate on Ares, so they don't really have much setup available. And looks like they're going to break out. And what's interesting to me about that top side that I was starting to get into with the phase rush AP cannon, which is great, better for team fighting, is that with the fact that Max Turbo took the Comet, it actually kind of gave him the superior laning runes, and that has kind of, I think, resulted in why the cannon has not bullied as hard as you would have expected, because the Q is landing onto cannon. Normally, you know, the cannon's going to trade back really aggressively with a press the attack. If your AD cannon, a lot more lane dominant, here has largely been neutralized, so the Gragas pick really working out for them.
Piglet also trying to knock down another turret. Tristana very good in these solo structure situations. Not a lot of health left on it there, about 25% remaining as Ari and Quan return here to the lane. Blade the Ruin King is finished though, so Ari perhaps now can play more aggressive in this matchup. Meteos running in looking for Max Trovo, but first Q's not going to connect, and that's going to call off the play.
And the big thing is that they now know that he's up on the top side, so you see Sun and Moon potentially thought they're going to try and make a play down that bot turret. It is getting low, so you expect to see some sort of play forced by Clutch Gaming here. now they have lost mid priority.
Pekkenhoff, though, mowing through minions right now with that Arcandle's already finished and stacking the mana up pretty quickly. Moon instead going to try and take this Drake. Looks like an objective trade will be split across the Rift as Meteos already started up that Rift Herald.
And this is why people talk about Meteos being such a good jungler. His bot side is down pressure. He knows that any fight they take from there on will be difficult. Also down to flash, so he's going for the trade play instead of the contest play. And they're able to get the Rift Herald.
Steal attempt?
Not going to happen. Good attempt by FlyQuest. Well coordinated to toss all their abilities at the same time. But yeah, FlyQuest actually trade up there. I would definitely take a Rift Herald in the short term over the Mountain Drake. It's obviously a great Drake to take with Piglet, being able to just get more damage down onto these turrets, but FlyQuest are able to use this and maybe get this mid lane turret, which they desperately need to start getting some turrets of their own.
Yeah, Nose rotated in as well, so certainly something they want to try and take down ASAP. Wave not even there. Actually, Noah's autoing down the turret. There's actually TPs and Abyss of Watch coming in. Realm Warp going to try and pull it away, but Meteor's still out of there. Max Trober, they're going to jump in onto Pekkenwolf, and that's a flash burn and first blood to Clutch.
Really nice collapse by Clutch. Not only do they find that kill on Pekkenwolf, they are also going to be able to keep their mid turret alive. The map mobility coming in with the TP and the Tom Kench cutting off that trade attempt. And so while it was nice to get the Rift Herald, they weren't actually able to turn it into any gold. And now Clutch transition that skirmish into a mid lane push.
And might even get the turret as well, make it 3 potentially. Ult there. Ooh, blocked by Quan. I think going to move them back in. And Wave will get cleared out.
Eternal struggle of Gragas players into Braum, landing a good ultimate in 5v5 situations. It is surprising, given that, you know, they picked that into Braum. But for, like I said, a lot of this comp is about protecting Piglet. Gragas would be great for that.
Pressure still continuing here. Looks like FlyQuest Academy may have just given it up. Piglet actually ate a Winter's Bite, ignoring the rest of the follow-up here.
Ooh, ate a Varus ult.
Ooh, actually there's the Glitchful Fissure, but he's going to get devoured quickly by Vulcan, who maybe now going to be under threat. Clem's not enough to get him out of the CC chain in time to not die, as Piglet's still trying to play aggressive, but here comes No. Flash ult in, Piglet going to flash out, good buster shot. He's going to keep the cannon away, but not enough to protect Moon, who is going to fall to Quan.
Nice 2 kills found there by FlyQuest. You saw how difficult it was with all the knockbacks, but they're still able to convert and get their turret of their own. Clutch Gaming definitely greeding out a little too much for that turret take. It gave time for FlyQuest to respawn and get back on the map and get that big flank off, and even though that didn't necessarily result in the kill right away, it did give them the pressure in the mid lane.
Also going to give them turrets. Yeah, going to give them 2 really good stuff. No, going to get Shockwave. No follow-up there from Sun.
A lot of greedy plays this game, trying to get more and more off the map. And now, with how low everyone is after that push in the mid lane, you gotta wonder if Clutch Gaming will enter their own counter push situation to try and grab that very, very low turret in the mid lane.
See how it all started though. Wave kind of ran out here, and Eri found a great angle here.
Yeah, and a nice root forces the W down. You get the effective double knockup, and then he's just chain CC'd to death. Max Turbo doesn't have his ult to disengage as he tossed it earlier, and this flank comes in, and Moon does a really good job slowing it down, and a really nice buster shot by Piglet as well stops this from being a complete disaster, but it does cost Moon his life. Kind of gives that one up for the team, and it does cost him these turrets, and then here's that counter push that you kind of knew was coming after FlyQuest also took their turn staying out in the map too long.
FlyQuest still, though, cut that gold lead in half, and more importantly, got some turrets, which was potentially going to be an issue if Clutch could continue gatekeeping their own structures. Instead, we're going to return back to more of a neutral situation. Meteor's going to grab red. Pekkenwolf has already started some side lane pressure here. Actually now down to the bot lane, was top formerly. And a potential 2v2 here. Meteor's going to try and take down this ward, and Clutch are smart enough to know that someone else is here.
Yep, no way Meteor's just charging into that river blind by himself. They back off. And they're going to, like we said, this 1-3-1 setup that FlyQuest wanted to go for is really struggling to get off the ground, as it feels like they don't really have pressure in any lane right now. And that's great for the side of Clutch Gaming, because they can keep farming up, stall the game out, get to those 2-3 item power spikes that the Ori and the Tristana are really going to want. And then, as long as they still have pressure, force around the Baron buff, force these 5v5s that their comp should be better at.
You can see Piglet also finished that static shiv, so it should be pretty quick to item number 2. No, for the Proto Belt now finished. Haven't been able to be involved in too many scuffles just yet. Clutch continuing to kind of do the right thing here and play aggressive. with a lot of open space here in the mid and bottom half of the map.
Got some good vision control down there to secure that push for Piglet. Doesn't look like they want to hover around him, though.
Yeah, Quan just trying to get his own vision down. Clutch know that despite the fact they have a lead, probably can guess easily that's not a huge one. Realm Warp looking for Piglet, gets tagged. Quan again can line up an ulti here, Buster shot. There's Vulcan, Meteor so also collapsing. Going to be forced to flash and spit Piglet out of the way. Now Quan's going to look for the ult. He actually found it onto Piglet. Now going to tag him. The ult as well from the Chain of Corruption. He's going to tie up a few. There's Nova, the massive ult's going to find two, and FlyQuest do it again.
And they did not have teleport. And Max Turbo was up on the top side. They tried to get in there, but not going to work out. Actually, I think Max Turbo canceled his TP. And a nice pickoff, and they felt like they were ready for it. You saw they had Vulcan kind of hovering further back, and there's a bit of indecision if he should go back and pick Piglet up or not, as Meteos already had the angle on them with the Predator pop. A good collapse, and now FlyQuest have a big kill advantage, down some turrets, but even in gold effectively.
And a good place to be, especially given the early game not going as well as you'd like, as we'll kind of watch how this happen again. I mean, Piglet's playing up. He wants to take the turret, but...
Yeah, there's some really interesting stuff that happened on the map there. Clutch Gaming had the initial position, but gave it up to return to the mid lane to get priority. And during that time, FlyQuest pulled the trigger on this play. There's just too much engage available on the side of FlyQuest, and they're able to collapse in there and get that. And the side of Clutch was just a little slow reacting to that play. And it all basically came off the fact that after Clutch got some good vision in the jungle, they vacated to go back to the mid lane, and that opened up that angle of attack for Meteos to charge through. And now, with that pressure, that 1-3-1 is starting to come online.
FlyQuest still needs to knock down a few more turrets. Didn't get any, despite the few kills that they picked up. Bot Outer is still pretty low, so we'll see if top lane for FlyQuest can get the job done there. But again, game plan staying the same.
Chicken fight.
Not sure who won. I think it was Meteos.
I think
He's the only one that smited, so I'm going to hope so.
Yeah, Sun got the little chickens. And you see how far Piglet has to play back now without having any vision control up in the top side. He was all the way hovering underneath his turret, wants to walk forward and loses the entire wave. Now with the collapse, though, they might be making a play.
More flashes out of there. He's going to walk away, actually. Doesn't even need to use the ulti. That should give No enough space to try and take this bottom outer turret, maybe? Looks like Ocean Drake instead here for FlyQuest.
I feel like every time we cast together once or twice, you say, just walk away. And every time the Chiodo song pops into my head, and I have to stop myself from saying anything every time. Because when people say that in the real world, I just drop that song. I'm horrible at singing, full blast.
There you go.
Holding back.
Now everyone knows what to expect next time.
No, I'm not going to do it ever on broadcast.
No. I know that. I'm just saying they can do it. Now they know the situation. Next time it happens, they can kind of do it, do it for themselves. Or just blast the song on wherever you are.
Yeah, that works too.
Sitting at home. Maybe someone in the audience can find a boombox.
Please no.
Get that going.
Because looking back at the game, hey, FlyQuest got a gold lead now. They got their extra turret down the bot side after that play Clutch Gaming made that Pegmo was able to get out of, and with that many resources committed to the top side, FlyQuest got the bot lane turret, and once again, despite not having the ideal early game, that controlled game plan of FlyQuest coming online.
This is, I think, where we do start to worry for Clutch. I mean, they've shown some better spots in this early game, but did not get enough ahead to really cement themselves a strong mid-game lead. And I think FlyQuest have just shown that they're very consistent with their map play and their plans. Obviously, a big team fight or something like a Baron fight can kind of break out a lot more of this game, but just based on how the teams like to play and given the comps they've both drafted, I think FlyQuest Academy, despite only having a small lead, will feel pretty comfortable in the spot they're in because they can just, again, play that slow, attrition-y style using that 1-3-1 and force Clutch to come to them.
Yep, and their vision control all game has been significantly better. I mean, there's a bit of time in the early game where Clutch, with their priority, had gotten some vision, but even during that 1-3-1 phase where they were able to collapse on the Piglet, you saw the fact that they were contesting vision every step of the way, and now that the game is back under their control, there are no wards for Clutch in the river at all. Everything is on their side of the map, and slowly FlyQuest kind of creeps their vision forward more and more, and just chokes out any hope for FlyQuest to, or excuse me, Clutch Gaming to find easy proactive plays because you don't know where the enemy is.
We need fights to really secure this game. We look at Piglet, 2 items now finished. Now moving with some squad members, Moon and Vulcan, going to help him clear out the rest of these control wards. I mean, Tristana really needs 3 items like a lot of these crit-based marksmen to have that big jumping off point, but Piglet's not so far away and has been protected well to get this farm, despite Eri keeping up well. So if Clutch can find the fights once Piglet has those first 3 items, they have a kind of an easy way to give themselves a strong lead in this game. But getting that might be harder than you think.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is it's true if Clutch Gaming can find that fight, great, but I don't think FlyQuest will ever opt into it. You see FlyQuest, since they've got that mid lane turret, have really gotten control of the game. And
surprise!
Oh, there's the cannon.
Done.
Actually traded back pretty well by Max Strobo.
Yeah, looks like between the Sheen and the Spirit Visage, he's not really afraid of what No is bringing to that 1v1. Obviously, No will be very impactful in team fights and flanks, but Strobo has done a good job holding his own in that matchup despite a CS deficit. Ooh, threatens and does get the flash out.
No
Eri.
trust, Eri. What are you doing? Quan got the shield up in time. Nice bait by Max Strobo, just eating forwards to see if he can get anything out of it. And he got as much as you're ever going to hope to get, especially given that the Braum was in position. Lack of trust there on FlyQuest gets a free summoner for nothing.
We'll see if that comes up again, because that makes the engage opportunities for Clutch significantly easier. But again, being kind of pulled across this map. Although I think the pressure's not quite enough yet. No is struggling in his 1v1 to at least push the way forward, and Peklin's doing a good job clearing, but he's usually clearing against Piglet plus Vulcan, so he can't really all-in the Tristana either. I think FlyQuest again have shown so much goodness when it comes to keeping control of the map, but Clutch have found kind of easy ways to keep up in this point in the game.
And I'd say they have a decent chance of just winning a 5v5 with the comps right now on FlyQuest side for the next couple of minutes, but once Piglet gets to that completed 3rd item, just picking up the Zeal now, and Ori gets to her 3rd item, whether it's a Death Cap or a Zion. It does feel like it'll be difficult, but there we go.
Yeah, the game's going to start here. 3 members cornered there by FlyQuest as Clutch can even TP the rest of them in. Eri getting chased down. He's still got no flash. Shockwave is going to miss, though, as Noak tries to dive in. The Realm Warp also from Peklinov is going to just move the rest of the team out of the way. No, did get busted shotted again by Piglet over the wall into the red pit, but FlyQuest actually come out on top there.
Yeah, not a bad fight by either team there. Clutch pulled the trigger, got there first, and was able to win the initial fight. FlyQuest got some nice flanks off, but Clutch reacted well, and so everyone actually disengages. No substantial advantages traded out. More summoners forced out of FlyQuest, though, as they did lose the heal on Eri and the flash on No from that one. And it did get some TP trades as well.
Yeah, I thought some of the health lead might force Clutch Gaming to at least contest for a Baron threat, but instead they pushed down mid. FlyQuest decided to just fall back in defense. So despite a lot of exchanges, team staying neutral as Peklinov trying something here in the top lane, but Piglet is going to join in. Vulcan no ulti, so can't join super soon. But Peklinov knows he's going to be there soon enough, as Meteos with the Predator is going to force Piglet away. That's actually enough to get the turret. Piglet dodges out the axe. So there's going to be no follow-up threat. But still a nice job from FlyQuest to finally break down another turret.
Yep, able to disengage. That one attempt by Clutch allows them to get back into that split push situation. And they still need to be careful because there's no longer any TPs that can potentially come in to cancel out that engage by Clutch. So they do need to play a little bit safer until those are back available. And as a result, No is actually going to abandon the split push and kind of come back and group up 5v5 with the rest of the team.
Doesn't have too many cooldowns. So I think FlyQuest is just going to be waiting a little bit here, maybe for that Cloud Drake that actually is up now. So you want to pop down and take that.
Where are the Infernals at?
Lost in the last game. We only had one.
Gotta get some more Infernals in here.
Well, maybe it's your lucky day. There'll be an Infernal after this one. Maybe it'll be another Cloud Drake.
Producer, can you just pipe me in an Infernal Drake on the next one?
Just have the graphic there. Give Mark some hope.
No, don't give me the don't
okay,
me. Just control the Drake spawn.
Ah, so close. The mountain instead.
Unfortunate, as with the fact that FlyQuest was grabbing that one, you see Clutch Gaming moving into the top side to secure some Baron vision. And Piglet is now at 3 items, and with that, they might feel strong enough to just go for a force.
Nice note from No. Actually was looking bot lane, and then he seems like, no, they're potentially on Baron here.
Yeah, but no Piglet, so the DPS is going to be very slow. He actually grabbed the red buff on the way.
Predator, Meteos is like, there's somebody there. I want to chase him down. Pops the sweeper, finds Piglet, but
big axe.
Axe. Just a bit of poke.
Nice attempt by Clutch, but without Piglet there, that really had no hope of ever working out. But in the future, that is a play that I hope they go for a little bit more. If FlyQuest is ever a little lax on their Baron control vision, which it did feel a little bit there, Piglet with 3 items and a Mountain Drake on their side can do a lot of damage to that. And then you get into a situation where you're buster shotting Meteos away early, or you're disengaging him, or you're forcing his alt flash in there. And those are situations that can work out pretty good for Clutch.
Yeah, as a result, despite, again, FlyQuest having a small gold lead, Clutch kind of at the point where their comp can really start to shine. And does again feel like FlyQuest momentum sort of been halted. We saw this dip again in the last game. And they don't have nearly as much total map pressure to try and force something down. I think maybe we're waiting for No's Death Cap, which is now finished, maybe his 3rd item, and same there for Peckenwolf as well, who's got 2 needlessly large rods, but no hat just yet to evolve into the full-on wizard. Because without those, it does feel like their sideline pressure is not the same as they'd like it to be to really enact the 1-3-1 effectively.
Yeah, and you see FlyQuest still waiting on those TPs as well as another big reason. And with that, they're actually going to be the ones to get aggressive here, but they haven't.
They found it.
They found it. But Max Strobo doesn't have TP, and they see him pretty far away on the bot side. Either way, they're going to pull off, though. Still scared of the potential shockwave in the pit.
I think a nice start, though, from FlyQuest. Again, checks for vision, make sure they can clear it out, forces Clutch to come to them. And No's TP is not so far away. Looks like both top laners actually have a pretty similar cooldowns. In fact, yep, they're almost identical. I think 1 second between the two, about 90 seconds left for both of them. So still a whiles away to be able to have full-on side lane pressure away from the Baron side of the map. And all the while, Piglet is getting stronger and stronger, going to clean down a juicy wave here in the top lane.
Yeah, a lot of these side waves that get built up by FlyQuest getting funneled into Piglet. But again, FlyQuest's going to start this one off, but they have
it's going really fast. I think they may have actually maybe caught Piglet in a greedy-ish rotation. I think someone's going to try and steal the Baron. It's not going to happen. Meteos able to smite it out of the way, and now No actually finds a little flank brush to keep Max Strobo out of the fight. FlyQuest just have to get out safely. No going to go in there as well and force Piglet to flash out of the way. Eri already taking down Moon. The shockwave finds Sue, but it's only frontline as now the rest of Clutch forced to run away. Piglet can maybe regroup as Peckenwolf and Noah are extremely low, but Quan is going to block the ball and FlyQuest get a kill and the Baron.
Super nice play by FlyQuest there. You saw No the entire time looking for that potential flank. He actually sat in that brush the entire time while the rest of his team did the Baron buff just to be able to collapse onto Clutch should it be needed. And that was a really nice play as Moon had gone back to base. They found the timing, and I like how FlyQuest just kept probing around the Baron, hoping to get it. They finally got it, and then No over the wall. They did see him, so that maybe not quite as susceptible as they should have been there, but a nice re-engage by Sun almost works out, but they just lost too much of their front line as the Moon popped super quickly there. He's going to be one of the main guys who should be stealing stats from the Braum or the Olaf, but when he gets bursted down like that, it's one of your main takes instantly gone.
Yeah, you can see No Pesky, all that damage coming from that flash ult. Even though most of Clutch got out of the initial blast, still enough for FlyQuest to get a kill, and most importantly, get out with Baron on all 5. Talk about, again, FlyQuest game plan is to pressure 3 lanes whenever possible. A lot easier with Death Cap now finished, and of course Baron on them as well.
And you saw how close it was for Clutch to turn that fight back around. Like you said, that last shield by Quan blocking the ball from coming in and getting a cleanup kill onto Meteos, I think it was. But either way, you know, for how well that fight started by FlyQuest, it was still very back and forth. The problem is with this Baron buff, the next one might not be so easy.
Nice ult there onto Peckenwolf there. He's actually going to get the body slam follow-up. That's a flash and a kill for Piglet. Gets a little value there as extra. Meteos now forced to get away. Max Strobo is still chasing down. Here's Abyssal Voyage to cut him off, but Ragnarok's going to get popped. Try and run him out to safety. Glacial Fissure finds 3, including Max Strobo, who flew over the wall trying to get a follow-up kill.
Huge ult by Quan there, who's having a great series overall, has blocked some of these Gragas engages, that time making sure that as Ragnarok timed out, he can keep him alive. Peckenwolf just not knowing who was around and just walks too far forward. Max Strobo, good job waiting things out, gets the kill. Peckenwolf maybe a little greedy with his flash, but either way, that was well done. And then you see this collapse coming in, and Quan was the reason that Meteos was able to get out there and make sure that they don't lose any more of the Baron buff. But still a huge play by Clutch. We were just talking about how if they use this Baron buff well, they might build a big enough gold lead for themselves that they no longer have to worry about the fact that Clutch's comp might be better in the 5v5. And with that pick-off, that stalls the game out. keeps the gold lead around 3K as there's only 40 seconds left on the Baron buff, and keeps Clutch in these 5v5.
Yep, no extra pressure either with that Baron, so it's going to about wear off before they can really threaten another turret. No, also use TP, trying to get the deepest flank I've ever seen, basically under the turret.
And Moon's on the wrong side of the map a little bit here, though. He's hovering behind the Drake.
He's got friends. Meteos does not have as many. Ult there, he's going to tag the front line, going to extend out and almost snare up the carries.
Try to see Vulcan flash there, but FlyQuest did have an angle onto him.
Looks like people want to fight for this Drake.
Surprised to see. A lot of focus on this Mountain Drake. I can understand FlyQuest not wanting to give up 2 to the side of Clutch, because then their objective taking becomes very, very scary.
Looks like Clutch knowing that, especially with their Trist. Just going to try and start it up. Speed try and one off, but they've got vision there with a control ward. Looks like it should go over here. No steal forthcoming. Instead, FlyQuest just take the tempo in mid lane, and Pekkanov's going to scoop up the wave in bot lane.
Good decision by FlyQuest. No flash on Meteos means that he's basically going to have to Ragnarok into there, and you don't want him to be doing that because you'll lose the fight afterwards.
TP flank potentially, Moon flashing forward, finds the pillar. No, just going to jump in instead. Uses the ulti, doesn't quite get the stopwatch. I don't think he had it as the TP in for FlyQuest. Maybe a little too late. Quan blocking so much damage, but he is going to die to Piglet. Gets the exhaust off as Piglet. He's going to try and find the reset. Eri going to be the next kill. That's going to be the Guardian Angel popped off as Meteos. He's going to get Shockwave back in after the Abyssal Voyage from Vulcan. Very nice play from Clutch. Look to be almost completing an ace. They find 4 as Pekkanov runs out of there.
We'll see what they have to do with this. Piglet runs up to the top side to collect the wave that's pushing into his team's base. He does have TP, so he can re-meet back up with the team pushing the mid wave if that's what they choose to do. 30 seconds about on most of these respawn timers, so they might be able to get the inhibin back. We'll see if Piglet chooses to TP in with the rest of his team. It looks like they're going to commit that.
Yeah, Pekkanov just waiting. Doesn't want to play too far forward to clear these waves. Instead, just gives up 1 turret. And now going to clear this off. Clutch maybe looking for 2 here. But watch this fight again.
Really intelligent tracking of the flash timers. Nose was down for about another 30 seconds there, and the flash pillar makes it so No has to try and go back in, but he can't get through the front line. So Piglet and Sun are mostly untouched through this, and then Piglet is what we're talking about. The resetting Tristana has the Ori shield on top of him, speeds him up, makes it so he has a little bit extra HP, doesn't die as easy, so he can take these auto attack trades for his Quan, or excuse me, Eri, and then they get the extra chase down kill there. And unfortunate that they couldn't snowball that into more. Maybe if they stayed grouped up or committed the Piglet TP, they could have got the inhibitor, but you risk being on the map too long. They value the reset. Baron's up in a minute and a half. They want to get their purchases off because that's a big influx of gold they just got, as Piglet's now on 4.5 items.
Yeah, Mercurial Scimitar has now been finished. He only had QSS in that last fight, but starting to feel a little bit unapproachable in these team fights. FlyQuest don't have great ways to jump on him unless no one Meteos can find picture-perfect engages and lock down the Tristana. And then that's with all the additional help and heal the supports and tanks can give him. So again, we expected the 5v5 to feel pretty tough for FlyQuest. Once the game got late, and we're pretty much at that point right now.
Yeah, Piglet hitting 18 on the tail end of that last fight, and the minion wave that he got means that he's now at that super long range that allows him to kind of abuse the Ori speed up and be able to kite out these engages very well and outrange the other marksman whenever he does choose to go in. So Clutch Gaming have absolutely hit those power spikes that we were saying FlyQuest had to worry about. Now, FlyQuest have been performing pretty well around the objectives, and perhaps that's their way to continue to win this game. Big flanks by No, now that his flash is back available, might allow them to be able to delete a backline quickly, but with Piglet having that Mercurial Scimitar, like you said, it does enable him to get out of those engages pretty easily.
Let's see, Baron is up in a few seconds though. FlyQuest trying something here in the mid lane. They have to make it quick. Max Trobo is going to get tagged by Chain of Corruption, but that's it. And actually, maybe Clutch will just force down mid lane here.
Really nice reaction by Max Strobo, having his finger on the body slam, ready to dip away from that brush, and it gets the ultimate out of Eri, who's been a little trigger happy with some of his cooldowns this game. Not going to have that one for about another minute.
Oh, Piglet is so threatening. He's actually going to jump forward. He's going to look for Pekkanov here. He's going to get rooted up, and Pekkanov's going to run away. The Abyssal Voyage is going to try and get Moon and Vulcan in the mix. But Pekkanov gets out safely. Still, though, the inside track here for Clutch. Piglet back to full health. Flash stealing away. They take down the mid
They are
here.
flanked.
No, he's looking for the angle. He knows he needs to make this count.
Oh, Piglet goes back
going back in. Pekkanov now going to be forced to flash. Clutch playing ping pong here in the mid lane with FlyQuest Academy.
Yeah, and I think it's actually working out very well for them. Even though they're the ball in this situation, they're deciding where they go. And the attempt to collapse in looked very scary there, so they re-engage onto the weaker side, onto Peckenwolf. They get the flash out, which then gives them their escape route. And with that, they can also look on the Baron buff.
Yeah, this is maybe the bigger issue. Clutch, so not going to start it. No. Again, just force FlyQuest to approach them here. A little bit of vision there in that pixel brush. FlyQuest know that they haven't started it just yet. Maybe Clutch looking for another fight. Big wave bot side also.
Yep. Someone might have to go down there. Max Strobo does not want to have to commit his TP, so they're trying to get a favorable fight around this Baron buff so that wave is not going to matter. But if FlyQuest stalls this out, that is in their favor.
FlyQuest again, still being patient. Clutch so ready at a moment's notice. Meteor's going to clear out the vision, threaten the Baron take here. The Clutch waiting in that brush.
Inhibitor's turn starting to get low, down below about half HP now, as this Baron bait not really netting them anything.
Nice sweep there from Meteor. They're going to try and jump him again, but he's still got Ragnarok ready. Moon just not enough threat there, and now Clutch know they have to try and do something in mid lane. Oh, Quan. Blast cone backfires at an ally, almost thrown into the arms of the enemy team.
That would have been a tilter.
Turret down in bot side, by the way. It looks like the minion wave is enough to finish that off here. See, Clutch are distracted. Yeah, Clutch are going to force them back here, though. Piglet actually working on the turret already. They can find an instant engage. Maybe they can kill Piglet now, but it's not enough. Meteor's kind of trying to cut the wave, but not really much to do there. Also, Elder Dragon up in 20 seconds, so this is a very weird game situation.
Yeah, Meteos is on the flank now, kind of running around, trying to get them distracted. Not quite sure what his end goal is here.
He's trying to corral them into No and his ulti, but not sure how it's going to work out. Max Strobo is going to find Meteos, but he's still going to dance away. Again, FlyQuest just need to find one good engagement. Piglet's going to leap in again. He gets ulted.
That's that Tom Kench though.
Well, plus QSS, the front line also burning down. Moon not that tanky, no. He's going to get moved out of the way. He protobots forward. Now we're going to flash in. They've taken down Moon. Piglet's still alive for a little while longer, and he's starting to reset the fight. Quan getting low. Meteos on the front side also blinking health bar, but Piglet's still firing away. Going to get rooted down by Pecco if he gets the kill. This looks to be a cleanup now for Piglet, but he's so low. He's going to flash forward. He gets the double.
And with that, only Ares left alive in terms of real damage dealers. They're going to be a TP coming in. They have super creeps in this minion wave. Piglet also has TP, so he's going to back, get healed up, and come back in. Sun has no mana, which is a little scary. It is a 4v2. Ares going to have to get back to base, heal up, and quickly try and defend this wave.
Yeah, here comes Piglet now. Full 6 items.
30-second death timers.
Tough defense here. See if they can do it. Piglet again, leaping in. Meteor's just trying to get some damage down, but Eri can't step forward to safely auto-attack him. Clutch are going to try and end this one here. Onto the Nexus turrets, Max Strobo going to zone them out of the way. Good old back, finds Eri into the front side of the team. Now Piglet going to jump in again. There's the shockwave, is enough to get the kill, but Piglet, he's trying to get takedown Meteos. It's not enough for Meteos, so Eri going to die after the GA respawn. And Clutch Gaming, they find the fights they need. They'll equalize the Nexuses and take down FlyQuest in game number 2.
A very tight race for a long time, but eventually Clutch Gaming's comp comes online. Protect the Piglet strategy, raise the pig. Works out perfectly, and he's able to start getting those crazy resets at level 18 and 4 items. Carries his team to victory, but it was truly a team effort.
It was. I think Clutch not falling behind nearly as early as they did in the last game, kind of fixing a lot of maybe some of the early mistakes they made, and forcing FlyQuest on the back foot. After that, did feel like FlyQuest, despite continuing to enact their game plan without a significant lead, was a big difference in how they were able to snowball that game.
Yeah, Piglet had 14,000 more damage than anyone else in the game, so pretty obvious what that strategy was there, and they played it out well. And I think you can look at some of the struggles that FlyQuest has just in general with getting early game leads. This is why I was saying I was a little concerned for this team in the series. They have a much more early game oriented comp. The Olaf pick doesn't really snowball any of the lanes. The Kennen pick's not winning. And then as you go into the mid game, Clutch had the lead, and FlyQuest macro is really good, and so they're able to start getting some advantages back, but it's not explosive enough to offset the draft advantage that Clutch already had.
And does feel like No is kind of the biggest difference there between the two teams. I mean, his cannon looked fine, but I mean, again, Piglet has the bust shot to keep him out. They did well protecting him, and No is just not the same impact that he had on a pick like Poppy.
Yeah, and I don't think it's his fault. I actually think he found a lot of really good flanks, but twice disengaged perfectly by Piglet. Once he found the kills for his team, but then once again, the Orion was able to trade trade back and stop that snowball, and then Peckenwolf getting caught in that side lane was a big problem.
Yeah, let's have a look though at kind of how the thing started. FlyQuest starting strong with some good rotations, 20 minutes in. FlyQuest do nab a 2-0 here in bot lane.
Yep, they're able to sneak in this push for a little while, and this is when Clutch had pressure for, about the first 15 minutes of the game. The flank by Meteos with the Predator, giving the jump forward onto Quan to make sure to lock people down. Vulcan's eventually going to drop Piglet as well. Sun almost gets in range for a big shockwave here, but doesn't pull the trigger because he knows the fight's already over. And that was one of the plays that got FlyQuest back in the game. Working better around the map and vision control was super in their favor for the first 30 minutes of the game.
Yeah, this isn't something we measure, like, statistically for teams. So if you could measure, like, reaction time to, like, response time to like crisis situations on the Rift, FlyQuest moves so quickly together as a team. You saw in moments like that, despite the fact that there is a Tom Kench in the game, like globally moving people around the map, which was very effective from Vulcan as well. FlyQuest still are really good at collapsing and playing together.
Yeah, that's one of their biggest advantages. The problem is if you're up against a team who's going to outscale you later and all you're doing is making small punishes, it's not going to be enough.
Well, they were still trying despite being a bit behind. Noah stepping up and making plays in that last game. Now 31 minutes in. Only a 1-0 after Baron, but FlyQuest were able to steal it and then get out of here.
And he had a number of flanks like this. Maybe could have waited a little bit longer on his Zanyas, but he had been buster shotted out of so many fights. He was like, nope, I'm not going to get buster shot this time. I'm going to Zanyas right away and stay in the middle of your front line. And you saw Peckenwolf Sun was able to trade back there a lot of damage to stop them from running through that fight. But there were a lot of problems after that part because there was that one pickoff in the bot lane on Peckenwolf when they're trying to set up that 1-3-1, which eventually stalled the game out to when Piglet was finally online enough. A great catch on to No. He didn't have his flash to get over that pillar, so he tries to turn around, but Piglet was untouched, and he's able to continue running through this fight. If you're fighting front to back versus an Orianna Tristana comp with 3 tanks, you're gonna lose, and that's exactly what happened here. They're able to get this 4-0 in the mid lane, which is really what kind of was the final nail in the coffin, as Piglet, after that fight, hit 4.5 items, hit 18, and was this unkillable Tristana in the late game.
Such a great ult as well from Vulcan. They hit a number of good spots there with Abyssal Voyage, but that's like the world's longest Orianna shockwave.
Yeah.
Extends it basically a full screen away, and then the last shockwave for the kill was really nice.
Yeah, really, really well done by Vulcan this game. Was able to keep Piglet alive in a couple of situations, which is exactly what this comp wants to do. Piglet can go as crazy as he wants, jump in as much as he wants, because guess what? You have a Tahm Kench to get you out and an Ori shield to protect you.
Well, let's have a look now at the final fight of the game, where we talked about Clutch winning that big 5v5. This was the one they found to end the game.
And there you go. Jumps in, gets ulted right away, and Vulcan's able to keep him alive. And then he hovers on the side of the fight, trying to get some damage out, peeling. As his front line is dying, it doesn't matter because him and Sun are untouched. Big shockwave to get everyone low, so Piglet can start going ham in this fight. Struggles a little bit to find the resets, but has chunked out so many people at this point, you know eventually he's going to start finding them. Gets that kill onto Peckenwolf, has the flash available, gets onto Quan, and kills him. Leaves a 2v4 on the map. It's going to be very easy for them to close out from there. And there it is, the 3.5k gold swing that happens basically with Baron buff that they weren't able to close it out. And Piglet, like we said, monstrous damage numbers, no surprise.
That's a Piglet damage graph if I've ever seen one. You can see kind of the struggles. I mean, Eri was doing decent damage, but it's just not the same. Like, Barris cannot safely do what Tristana was doing in that game, and Piglet was really showing the difference there.
Yeah, and I think, this is one of those games that really highlighted both teams' strengths. I think, Clutch had a little bit better early game. They were able to build some laning leads, had some turrets down early. FlyQuest in the mid game, great macro, great shot calling, got the Baron buff down, and started to set up their 1-3-1 before they made a couple mistakes. And then the better team fighting comp that has Piglet as the primary carry that you can build a team comp around, and he will usually win, won the game. Whereas on the side of FlyQuest, I don't know what their ideal team comp looks like. What's their fallback strategy where it's like, this is the guy we're going to go all in on. I don't know if they have that guy on the roster.
That's true. I mean, we've seen Eri have some decent carry performances, but certainly not the same.
Yeah, they're all good players, don't get me wrong, but it's like, who's that guy that you're going to double down on and say, like, you're going to carry me this game? I think you do need a primary threat, and it does feel like one is kind of lacking on the side of FlyQuest.
Well, we'll see what happens in our third one as Clutch Gaming Academy come away with a win to tie the series. We'll see who takes the lead after Game 3, which is coming up right after the break. Actually, TP's and Abyssal Voyage coming in. Realmwolf going to try and pull it away, but Meteor's still out of there. Max Trober, they're going to jump in onto Peckenwolf, and that's a flash burn and first blood to Clutch.
Keep going, keep going.
Tom flash.
Yeah, careful. Out to Tom.
I'm on Triss. Triss, no flash. No flash.
They cancel TP. They cancel TP.
Triss.
Yep, Triss.
Nice.
Nice.
uses the ulti, doesn't quite get the stopwatch. I don't think he had it as the TP for Pegwalk. Maybe a little too late. Quan blocking so much damage, but he is going to die to Piglet. Gets the exhaust off his Piglet. He's going to try and find the reset area. Going to be the next kill. That's going to be the Guardian Angel popped off as Meteor. He's going to get Shockwave back in after the Abyssal Voyage from Vulcan. Very nice play from Clutch. Going to leap it again. He gets ulted.
That's that Tom Kench though.
Well, plus QSS, the front line also burning down. Moon not there. Tanky, no. He's going to get moved out of the way. He Protobuds forward. Now he get a deflection. They've taken down Moon. Piglet's still alive for a little while longer, and he's starting to reset the fight. Quan getting low. Meteos on the front side. Also blinking health bar, but Piglet's still firing away.